Hey guys, Captain Kuba here. Sorry I've been absent from the channel for a while. As of now, I'm taking some vacation time at Kanaruki's place. Man, I've been playing a lot of Apex Legends.
I did really good today. I can't wait to tell my
I'm starting to forget what the sun looks like. Thankfully, Ra has shined his glory at me, giving me something to do, because we have the initial concept art for God of War 4 in Egypt. Prior to the game being announced, I was hoping for the next God of War game to take place in Egyptian mythology. Aside from Greek mythology, it seems like the most rich and diverse mythology out there, but Cory Barlog wanted to have a mythology that had Kratos and Atreus more isolated from the pantheon, so Norse ended up being the winner of those two. But alas, we have the original concept art for the God of War game we never got. And even though this game may never come to fruition, it is still fun to analyze the pictures, so I went ahead and tried to do the most in-depth analysis out there. So let's begin with Kratos and Atreus' minor changes to their costume. First, we see Kratos sporting a white Egyptian garment. It seems like he was going to have two distinct pieces, one hanging from the front and one from the back, as opposed to his Spartan pitagues, which would go around his waistline. He's also wearing a round belt buckle, which is missing from the final game. Also, if you look at his arm, you will notice he's wearing an arm cuff, very much associated with the Egyptian culture. But by far the most interesting part is his weapon. And if this is the only concept art out there, it will remain a secret what the weapon was going to be. We can only see part of it, and I'm not too sure we can jump the gun and say that it was going to be the axe. There's just not enough information to say for sure. But we can be sure that it wasn't going to be the Blades of Chaos, as the same silhouette is not seen behind his other shoulder. But other than that, the character design remained the same. I think it's funny how the beard was always going to be part of the new Kratos. Now let's get to Atreus. Much like Kratos, he's also wearing an Egyptian white garment. He's also wearing an Egyptian headband adorned with what looks to be feathers. And finally, we have the bow and arrow, which much like the beard were always going to be a part of the new vision for the game. Now let's get to the enemies. First we have the corpses of two bird-like enemies who have been killed by arrows shot by Atreus, and one who has been shot in the head recently. And as John Ford has pointed out, they seem to belong in the army of Horus, which was depicted with a falcon head. The other important enemy to notice is this mysterious silhouette. This is where John Ford and I part ways in who we think he is. To me, he doesn't look like he belongs to the army of Anubis. I cannot see any canine features, and this might be because he has his back to the sun, making it impossible to see what he looks like. But I see other clues that point to him being a pharaoh or some sort of important figure. And before you say that pharaohs are historical figures and not part of the overarching mythology of the series, God of War Ascension confirms they are a part of the universe. One of the notes found in the game reads, "I have come from the land of Pharaoh. It is so cold here. If I return home without seeing her, it will mean my death." With this note, we can see that Santa Monica was gearing up for a God of War in Egypt. The man also seems to be wearing a traditional pharaoh's headdress. We can also see the army that follows him looking very human. I'm thinking they are mummies, which would become the most common enemy in the game, much like the Undead Legion in God of War 3 and the Draugrs in God of War 4. But by far the clue that might point to him being an undead pharaoh or someone of importance is the barely visible pyramid in the back. And at first I thought it was a mountain, but its edges seem to be too smooth, as if it were created by human hands.